You're good.
All right. What is going on, everyone? And welcome back to Mets Weekly as we are live at this very moment on YouTube and on X to discuss the latest offseason rumors and news in New York Mets land. Right off of a podcast day yesterday, which is now regularly on Friday. We are now live on a Saturday. Before we get into the news, I want to remind everyone, subscribe to the Mets Weekly YouTube channel for new episodes of our show. Friday, 7:30 p.m. As for those of you watching or listening on playback, you want to join the conversation in the future, make sure to turn on those post notifications to know when we go live. Make sure to follow Mets Weekly on X and on TikTok for more content over there. And for our audio listeners of our podcast, which just came out this morning, make sure to follow us on all of your favorite listening platforms to not miss the audio version of new episodes that go up at 9 a.m. the following day. Also, make sure to give us a 5-star review. So without further ado, let's get into today's news. Now, I apologize for not going live a little bit earlier than we usually do. Usually when this news drops of these major signings during the offseason, we usually go live about a half hour after the announcement. But I had to attend to some things, and I was not home at that current moment. So obviously, we are going live here at 4:30 Eastern Time. I am joined by Andrew kind of digitally. He is kind of talking through his phone right now. He's got headset in, so you guys will hear Andrew by audio. And we'll obviously talk in the chat. We'll talk about some of the other rumors that are going through. But as for right now, the Mets have signed infielder Jorge Polanco to a 2-year, $40 million contract, 32-year-old infielder, as the Mets kind of reshape this roster with some key pieces, obviously, going through free agency. Brandon Nimmo getting traded. There is going to be a lot of changes, and this is one of the major ones it looks like are coming through. It looks like they are expecting to move him to first base, which he has limited experience at, but they're also expecting him to be a DH as well. So could that put Mark Vientos in a certain category, either to get traded or possibly come off the bench or play a little bit of first base? We don't know. However, with this sort of signing, let's just say for a second, I will say it's obviously bold of the Mets to sign someone for first base after what has happened in this past week. I was expecting them to kind of shift off to pitching for the Pete Alonso heat to kind of die down. But listen, the Mets had to move on. We said that there was going to be moves that are going to be made because it's almost nearly impossible for the Mets to begin opening day with the roster that they have right now, not because of it's not being that good or, missing a lot of players. It's because, to be honest, the entire roster right now, and even with the addition to Jorge Polanco, at this current moment, it's shifted to a very, very weird dynamic right now. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the Mets have about 9 infielders who are likely going to get MLB reps or projected to get MLB reps right now that are on the Mets roster. Who knows who gets moved, but they also have 2 outfielders. They have 2 outfielders in Soto and Taylor right now. That's it. Then they have Lindor, Simeon, Vientos, Beatty, McNeil, Polanco, Mauricio, Acuna, and then you also have Jet Williams, who has yet to debut, but could debut this year. So we know that moves are going to be coming. We know that we saw some reports about the Mets talking with the Padres today. We'll get a little bit more in depth on that on, future podcasts, but we will talk about what we know so far. But either way, the Mets signed Jorge Polanco to a 2-year, $40 million contract, $20 million a year. He is 32 years old. He is coming off of one of his best seasons. But when you come to the conclusion of Jorge Polanco being signed here, it looks like, again, the Mets are loading up the infield to unload pieces on the infield. Now, as for his entire career, a 132 weighted runs created plus, which was a career high for him last year. But for his entire career, he's been a pretty good hitter. He's a lifetime 263, 330, 442, 112 weighted runs created plus throughout the entirety of his entire career. And he's a consistent 2 to 3 win player. But we all know that Mets fans, as of right now, that are sour on what is going on, and you have every right to be, 100%, that they're going to see this as not Pete Alonso, which he isn't. He isn't Pete Alonso. I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen. Pete Alonso is going to Baltimore. It is official. So for those of you who do not know that, for any Mets fans that don't know, he's going to Baltimore. He is not going to be a New York Met. So Jorge Polanco, it looks like, as of right now, the Mets infield is kind of shaping up to be veteran on the right side. We'll see what they do with some of these young infielders. Do they trade off from the young major league talent? Do they trade off from the young minor league talent? We'll see. The Mets have the even if they were to get rid of somebody like Vientos or Mauricio, they still would have the best farm system in all of baseball. So they have a lot of pieces that they can offload for these certain guys. And I know a lot of people are talking about it in the chat of the Mets talking with the Padres. And we know that they are discussing many names, obviously, with the Padres looking to offload some of their relief pitching as well. But Jorge Polanco, I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. And the main reason as to why I like it is this is a veteran with a lot left in the tank coming off of his career year. Not to mention he has had multiple really good seasons. And the fact that we also have a switch hitter here who, again, is good from both sides. I know a lot of people talk about switch hitters and they're saying, oh, well, they always have like this advantage. That's not always the case, but when you're talking about both sides of that platoon, he is a plus bat from both sides. A 150 weighted runs created plus against left-handed pitching, a 127 weighted runs created plus against right-handed pitching. He's also a guy who pulls the ball in the air a lot, and we know that we have talked about that type of profile that Jeff Albert really does like. Guys like Troy Snitker as well, where he worked around in Houston. We saw Simeon he pulls a lot of fly balls. That's how he generates a lot of his power and a lot of his prolific bat. And then also you have Jorge Polanco, who is pull side, to be honest. I think he's pull side from both sides. Like he's definitely pull side from both sides. And we also see a decent amount of contact that he's able to make. So this is a balanced hitter. Obviously, I think that this is probably like the free agent version of what you could possibly pursue with a guy like Yandy Díaz, which we talked about as well. That would have been my first pick. But I think that this is a good addition. Is it Pete Alonso? No, it is not. We are not going to say it's Pete Alonso, but let's take this into a simple analysis here. Pete Alonso, what you're looking to replace, the production that you lost, 40 home runs, 120 RBIs, right? Well, you now have 26 of those 40 home runs and 78 of those 120 RBIs. So you got to add more bats. And they do have openings. They have an opening in the outfield. They have maybe an opening at DH, depending on what they do. There's still moves that need to be made. So we'll see what happens there. I'm curious to see what happens. But again, when you look at a guy like Jorge Polanco, nothing is going to just completely bounce off the page as a generational power bat. However, this guy does have sustained enough power, especially from both sides. It seems like most of his power does come from the left side. However, with switch hitters, if you're talking about a pro hitter from both sides of the plate, you need there to be either some contact on one side or power on the other or power on both sides. You have contact from the right side, even though he has a decent amount of extra base hits from the right side. And then from the left side, he hit 21 of his 26 home runs from the left side. And even from his career, like we said, a career plus bat from both sides. 102 against left-handed pitching and a 116. So he's done this throughout his entire career. This is not just someone who is coming off of a sell-high year, a career year, and he turned into something amazing at 32 years old. He's had a really, really good career, which is what I really do like, is that you have pedigree now adding into this lineup. Is it perfect? No. And it seems like a lot of what swayed Jorge Polanco to join the Mets, apparently his dad is from New York, what we are hearing. I just bookmarked this tweet here. Yeah, it says Jorge Polanco was ultimately swayed by the Mets offer due to the proximity to his father, who lives in New York. And that came from Daniel Kramer, who is a Mariners beat writer for MLB.com. So we'll see what happens here. Could he be playing more DH? Could he be playing more first base? We'll see. We will see what happens here. We'll see how they rearrange things, but I'm just glad that you're getting quality baseball players that make a great team. We all know about that supplemental law. I already talk about this all the time, this complementary law. Good players make a great team. Great players make an elite team. It's all about putting it all together, and it's all about the Mets having a deep lineup. Adding in a guy like Jorge Polanco, that is a really good bat. He's not coming off of a struggling season. He's coming off of his best season. And he also, let's also not add, he was phenomenal in that postseason. And we all know that even in postseason success, obviously there's that postseason burnout. We all know how amazing that postseason was. We know that Jorge Polanco had a really, really good postseason, especially in that series against Toronto that they ended up losing. But either way, I'm not sure if Andrew is able to talk or not. Andrew, are you there? I don't know if he's there. I'm seeing some people in the chat. Andrew, you there?
Yeah. Holy shit, but I'm here.
Okay. Jorge Polanco, what do you think?
I mean, it's definitely it's an ad. I mean, finally Stearns decides to add people instead of seeing the subtractions, and it is a weird fit where he's been spewing this run prevention, and the first guy he signs is probably gonna be our DH. I mean, I think that's kind of creative, but I think I like Jorge Polanco. I think Polo is a really good player from Mariners' perspective. Yeah, because that being my AL team, that's the team I watch. You know, when it's late at night. The Mariners teammates love him. He's one of those guys in the clubhouse that is a good character guy, and we've seen with Stearns, with Semien, and now Polo, adding good character guys to the room. So again, you know, we as fans, we don't care about that, but we obviously just coming off a year where, you know, our chemistry in the locker room, everybody wants to kill each other. Bringing some good people has been priority. But with Polo, again, I think it's a really good ad. The AAV, I love Mariners fans, and you could tell if you're bringing in a good player based on the previous team's reaction. Mariner fans are upset. And because, again, we saw the great postseason. Polo had a good year. And the other thing with Polo is last year, his first year in Seattle, which everyone's looking back at, go look at hitters hitting in Seattle. It is real hard to hit in Seattle. He goes there year one. He was their big trade acquisition. He sucked. Has a bad year. And then comes back, re-signs a 1 year, I think $7 million deal this past offseason. Wanted to be in Seattle to prove that, you know, get that right, that wrong. And look what he did. So it is just kind of funny that this is the first Stearns move where he's been preaching all offseason about run prevention, and the first move he makes is the DH. The Seattle fans especially are crying about the AAV, but I laughed. They're like, well, they wanted to give him $15 million a year for 2 years, but the Mets gave him 20, and they're acting like, oh my God, that's such an overpay. I mean, if $5 million is that big a deal, I get it's New York compared to Seattle. It is kind of funny, but again, it's a good fit, and we've seen Stearns do this with second base with Keston here, trying to move him to first base, an offensive first, second baseman who's bad defensively. They shift him over to second. Again, if you're going to continue, I see this more as a DH, the Marte replacement. Hopefully, that's how I look at this signing. It's kind of the DH.
I would love for it to be, obviously. I would love for it to be a Marte type of situation. Somebody in the chat said Winker replacement. Again, he is a switch hitter, so you don't have to do this platoon garbage if you're talking about the DH. Having two DHs with a four-man bench is just stupid, and the Mets have been doing this for so long. So if he is seen as more of an everyday DH, that's fine. Do I feel comfortable with putting Mark Vientos at first base? Not really. But we know that Mark Vientos does have a stronger arm than Pete Alonso. So again, he still would have a better arm, but he would be playing a position that he's not familiar with. With Jorge Polanco, again, this is a vet. We'll see. I don't know what is going to be the deal with Vientos. If Vientos ends up being gone, then I kind of believe that they're still looking for maybe a first baseman, like we talked about with Wilson Contreras, or maybe it's Yandy Díaz. Like, I don't know. Maybe they end up bringing in Ryan O'Hearn. Somebody talked about Ryan O'Hearn in the chat. It could be possible. I'm not going to bank on it because there's so much work to do in the pitching staff and the bullpen. They need to sign another outfielder. They still have, a trade market to assess with, Jeff McNeil. Do they end up trading Kodai Senga? I don't know. It seems like that kind of chatter has gone down. So we'll see how they build this from here. But again, this is a veteran piece. This is a good clubhouse guy, like you just said. And it fits into the mold of what the Mets were struggling with last year. And it's all about just making that last year team better, not just on paper, not just as a roster. Obviously, the focal points of Lindor and Soto, but we'll see. It's an interesting signing, but offensively, because I think that's what we're looking at offensively with this guy, because it doesn't seem like he's the biggest toolsy. Offensively, this is a great ad. Great ad, 100%. Andrew, if you want to tag along, I got to clue him in because he's going in and out.
I'm working, but I'm here. But yeah, again, we've talked about this, and you keep saying the name that we're never saying again. So stop saying his name. He's dead to us. Who cares? Move on. He's not that replacement. Again, he's the DH. He's the Marte. He's dead to us. We're never saying his name. He's not dead to us.
He's coming back, right?
But again, this is just. Again, it's just a weird move because, but for me, this definitely signals if Marcus Semien was the death, this is the annihilation of Jeff McNeil on this roster. Because if he is on this roster after you brought in another guy who, again, not a great defender, but can play second base if need be, guy he played a couple innings at third base as well as Seattle, but again, he's going to be a DH. This better be the death of Jeff McNeil. Like, again, you cannot keep having these old, they're versatile. They're not versatile pieces. So for me, again, it's the timing thing where it's like, again, but also, again, Polo's market was moving. So, again, it makes sense because obviously he was hot at the winter meetings. Supposedly, they were shooting for 3 to 4 year deals. Seattle was willing to give him a third year, but then because, again, obviously on the Seattle side, so their reporters. The AAV is probably what it is. And then, so I didn't see anything about that report about his dad thing. One of the main Seattle reporters said he just left because of the money. But again, I don't know. I didn't see the MLB report about his dad or everything. So that could have been, but obviously it is probably mostly, as always, based on the AAV. So again, if you're telling me, and we've said it over and over again, I'd rather have a lineup full of 7 guys who have an above average, over a 100 WRC plus than have 3 guys at 150, and then you got a bunch of 85 to 95 WRC plus guys. I want a deeper, lengthened lineup. And this is already a massive upgrade from Jesse Winker and/or Starling Marte. You could put him, he's a switch hitter. Again, you like to have a little more balance in the lineup from lefties and righties. He hits on both sides, so that's good for the balance of the lineup. So from every point, he pulls fly balls. And from Mariners fans, I couldn't find, I know that obviously when you listen to the Mariners podcast and they have more of the analytics, but Polo is one of the most clutch players in baseball over the last couple of years.
He is.
So again, what was kind of the main problem? What was one of the main problems with the Mets was running in big moments, runners in scoring position late in games. Polo was clutch. I saw the postseason he did throughout this past year with Seattle. He is one of the most clutch hitters in baseball. So it fills a need for what the Mets needed. So again, it's a weird that the fact that this is the first move he makes. Yeah.
Last season with runners in scoring position, a 173 weighted runs created plus in high leverage in 2025. 259 weighted runs created plus. If you guys don't understand weighted runs created plus, it is offensive production with 100 as the average. So that's 159% above the league average in high leverage situations. So there you go. There you go. And if you want OPS, that's like a 1200, 1280 OPS right there. So again, or if you want average, 438 in high leverage situations. Whatever you're comfortable with. Let's just say he is an elite clutch man. All right? He's elite. He's got clutch in him. Anyways, Andrew, you can continue.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just saying, I'm still working. But again, we're working with difficulties here. Again, the Mets decide to always make a move when I'm at freaking work. Can't, God forbid, do it at night. Got to do it in the morning all the time. But again, it's a roster thing. And I said it's kind of the death for McNeil. I think this is the death of Vientos. Like, I think you can't have Mark Vientos, and we've seen that they're still interested in adding another bat. Maybe it's Ryan O'Hearn. We saw some stuff about maybe it's Ryan O'Hearn as that left-handed bat. Maybe he'll platoon here, which I don't love. But again, it's another productive bat. So you can't have, again, what we've talked about is, we have a bunch of second basemen. We don't need a bench of DHs. So again, for Vientos, hopefully this is again, I know fans are split on Vientos. I've obviously him ready to move on, and maybe this, especially now with him on the roster, makes him a little more expendable. Maybe he's a Chicago White Sox by the next time we're doing a podcast for a certain player eating some money. Just saying, they had interest at the deadline. Maybe Stearns is a little more willing to make that trade now. Who knows? So, but again, I think the roster construction, it's not going to be, oh my God, you don't have the stars. The Mets have their superstars. They don't mean, yes, would it be nice to have a third star? Yeah. But you know what's better than just having 3 superstars? Having a deeper lineup. So again, Polo's not going to light the world on.
Superstars in a deep lineup, huh? That'd be sick.
But again, Polo's a solid fit. I'm excited for him again, and now fans, the dumb ones are going to be like, "Well, he's not the polar bear." Well, the polar bear is dead, so get over it. He's not coming back. He's dead to us. We're done. Like, enough comparing him, and they're already going to be. He's gone.
Yeah.
Can he be a 115 bat as a DH? Hit you 25 homers? Become again. What we say all the time: if you're going to get your hits, get them in big moments. Again, a major problem for the Mets. Which again, you put the statistics out. He is clutch. That's what we need. I'd much prefer that than let's just continue to run Mark Vientos at DH, or let's keep running, Starling Marte. This was a move, a good hitter, not a great hitter. He's going to fill a role. We'll see what happens at him at first base, but I'm just looking at this as strictly a DH and maybe an occasional, depending on what first baseman they do add, maybe he gets a couple of runs, but I think this is more of a DH who can probably hit 6th in a lineup, 5th or 6th in middle of that lineup, who can provide some value, drive some runs in it, a couple of homers, and he pulls fly balls, like you said, like Albert and them want. So he fits the mold of the new coaching staff. He's a good, productive player. He's clutch. He gives you everything you want in a ball player.
Yeah, I mean, there's a base and there's a ceiling with these types of players. That's what I like. I like that there's a base and then there's a ceiling. And with a guy like Jorge Polanco, a base throughout his entire career, a 112 bat throughout his entire career, can give you that 20 home run power. And then at his best, we just saw what he can do at his best. Not to mention whatever comes after it. Again, pulling fly balls can make a mediocre hitter into a good hitter. Like those types of doing pieces of damage, and not to mention the amount of contact he does make. I mean, this guy only struck out 15.6% of the time last season. And even if that does not sustain, because throughout his entire career, he has been, maybe more 19%, a little bit over 20 sometimes. Maybe if that doesn't sustain, that is still a good number at this day and age, obviously. There's a decent amount of people in here, so I'm going to ask you guys, actually, I'm going to put up a poll in the chat if you guys actually do like this move. 2 years, $40 million for Polanco to the Mets. Tell us if you like it, hate it, or you're 50-50. Let us know in this chat right now what you guys think. For those of you in here, hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Like the stream. That would be greatly appreciated. Jorge Polanco to the Mets. 2 years, $40 million. I know Frank is crashing out. We'll deal with Frank when we can. I believe if I think Frank already made a video, right? Did Frank already make a video? Did you guys see that? I don't know. Did he make a video?
Yeah, Frank's video was out about an hour ago, yeah.
Okay, all right. So if he's upset, I'm sure he's cooled off by now. Uncle isn't happy? All right. It's all right. We'll get him to this side. Don't worry. We'll get it to this side. Mainly Mets saying, if he's a DH, I don't like it. Eugenio Suarez is out there in free agency. Probably would cost $25 million for 2 to 3 years. If it's first base, he's negative defensively. I mean, we'll see how he does at first base. We've seen a lot of guys be converted from second base to third base to first base by David Stearns. He's done that a lot in Milwaukee. And we've seen them excel fairly well as first basemen. We'll see what it means for first base, but if he is the DH, it's whatever because of how good of a balanced hitter is, not to mention the clutch hitting. But yes, I would love Eugenio Suarez. But if the Mets do end up getting a third baseman, I just don't see it happening because they somehow believe in Brett Baty. So I don't really think Brett Baty is that good, but it's whatever. We're talking about our co-host Frank, by the way, guys. We're not talking about Frank the Tank. Those are two different people. I'm just gonna let you guys know. So, again, it's whatever. We'll see. We'll see how this plans out. But this adds to the lineup. In a vacuum, it's a good move, as Jack is putting here in the chat. Let's get through some of everybody's comments. Paul Revere saying he is not even close to being done. So that is, I'm guessing he's talking about David Stearns, which it's almost impossible for him to be not done because they have 2 outfielders on this Major League roster right now. Their third outfielder is Nick Morabito, who I don't think has played a single game in AAA right now. So they're going to make some more moves. And it looks like McNeil might be the next one. They might be trading McNeil. I don't know where it's going to be. But he cannot be playing left field for this team. Can't be. Beatty's all right. He did come around last year. I'm high on him this year. Listen, I'm not seeing him as a future piece to this team, but whatever. It's whatever. Let it keep going. Let him keep going. He earned the spot to be the opening day third baseman. I know, Andrew, you probably have some input on this, but it's just. I don't see it, but whatever. It's whatever.
Again, and maybe I don't think you're still. Maybe you're still. I've moved on. Can Brett Baty? This is what my expectation is for Brett Baty. Can he be a league average bat and an above average defender?
Can he be a consistent bat? How about that?
Again, can he be a 3-win player like he was? Can he be a 3-win player like he was last year? That's all we need him to do, especially when he's making nothing. If we were paying Brett Baty and he's making actual big league money, I think we can definitely yell at him more. He's still free for this year. His arbitration one will be probably $2 million. So as long as Brett's making nothing, again, if you can get a productive player out of him, that's what you want for your free players to be. Yes, the expectation as a pick has moved on. It is what it is. If he's traded, again, maybe he's in a package for Skubal. I don't know.
I still would say that Ronnie Mauricio is a better defender than him. That's still me. But I know
that's
people
not what baseball
disagree
savant
with
says.
Because
baseball savant says no.
No, baseball savant says that. Yes, it does.
No, that's not right. That's not right.
Ronnie Mauricio last season, a 4 OAA, Brett Beatty 1. Roasted. Would be a stupid trade to punt on Beatty. Yeah, listen, I am well aware. Again, this is kind of like the same. This is kind of like the same conversation that I was seeing on Twitter earlier today. Like, I'm not very high on McNeil. Like, McNeil is not my guy. McNeil's been my op for a while, but the thing is that people were saying, well, if you can't trade him, release him. He's not getting released. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, realistically, Beatty probably goes in a Scooble deal, right? He probably, maybe he goes in a Padres deal. I don't know, but who knows? I have no clue. And that, listen, I'm done with McNeil. I'm done with McNeil too. But he's not going to just get completely cut if they can't find a trade partner. I just don't see that happening. They're going to probably find a way to they'll just have him as an expensive bench piece. Kind of like how they dealt with Marte. Somehow they dealt with him on the roster. But it seems like there is some fielding interest here. I'm trying to figure out what the names are that are being attached with this entire McNeil stuff, because we saw the Pirates, the Royals,
the Giants. And Giants.
The Giants? Was it Giants?
That's what Passan had. Giants, Pirates, and Royals.
Giants, Pirates, but there was one from Will Salmon, I think. There was one from Will Salmon that came out. I think I had it here. Hold on. Let's see.
I think Rosenthal and them had the Pirates and the Mariners, actually. Seattle, too. Seattle again.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Sherman reported that the Mets are trying to trade Jeff McNeil, which multiple non-Mets team officials have claimed. So I'm going to guess that's from the outside. I think I had it. I had it somewhere. Let me see. Let me try and find it. Okay. So it's Mariners, Royals, Pirates. I'm gonna guess Royals, that the name that was discussed was probably Bubich or whatever his name is. Bubich. Am I saying that correctly? I don't know. Let's see. And then Mariners, I'm gonna guess it's a young pitcher. Right?
All right, yeah, I'm back. It's Bubich, and you're not getting any of it. It's going to be you're not even looking at Bubich.
I know. It wouldn't be just Jeff McNeil for Bubich, obviously. But I'm just saying. I mean, Urseg. Oh boy, I would love Urseg. No, a dream.
It'd be more. I mean, I'd love that. It'd probably be more Angel Serpa. I mean, the money does work. It just would depend if they want in Estevez for McNeil 1-for-1. The money is similar enough where that, it's again with Kansas City, they like to spend money, but obviously
Pirates. I'm gonna guess Mitch Keller is in that discussion.
I mean, does that even?
Hey, there's his face. See, everybody, you can see his pretty face.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go.
I just pop in for a minute, but I mean, you could bring up Mitch Keller, but the way that if Johan Oviedo went to the password, they're not even in that. Again, you're probably looking, if you're trading Jeff McNeil, it ain't going to be for a starter. It's going to be for a reliever or prospects. It ain't going to be
so it is a reliever.
Big league talent.
Could it be Royals? I don't know.
Serpa. Angel Serpa has always been the guy that I've looked at what they would move. Maybe a James MacArthur who had a little bit of a bounce back last year. It's not going to be. It won't be. I mean, I'd love Ursig. I just think that they're not going to move him. They've been interested in moving. What what's it called? Carlos Estevez, like that, maybe just for the money, because again, that's just financially with the Royals, the salaries match up enough where it's not that big a deal and big of a hit for Kansas City, which again, it's a small market team. They did, like I saw the chat, they did obviously sign Lane Thomas, but they just need outfielders. So it's not even like
they got
they're
Alex
running.
Lang.
Yeah, Alex Lang for a solid reliever. But again, like they were so desperate for outfielders, they put Jack Caggs out there. That's just how desperate they were for an outfielder. So, I mean, for some reason they picked up, John Schreiber as well. That boy Evan, it's another option. Again, it's one of those. Again, it's not going to be sexy a McNeil trade. It's either going to be a pure salary dump, or similar to the Nimmo thing, where it's maybe a more expensive reliever. That's why I keep bringing up Robert Stevenson. I think that makes sense 1-for-1.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the money swap, it's nothing. It's just you need a second baseman. Here's a reliever. It's like that kind of trade. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like you pay half the contract and you get some single A prospect. I think that's more likely as just a straight salary dump. So as much as like we could talk about, well, Bubich, sure, like big name. McNeil is not going to go. I will be surprised if we look at the return for Jeff McNeil and we're excited. Will I be excited if it's like a prospect I left because I'm a nerd and I love prospects? Yeah, but that's different. I would be shocked for the general public if the McNeil return is something where you're like, that's sexy. It's not going to be that. I think it'll be bad money for bad money, or a low leverage reliever, or you're going just straight salary dump where it's a single A pitcher who maybe has some upside as a high end reliever, or it's not going to be sexy. Like I think Senga and Peterson, if those two are moving, I think that's where you get. Oh God, what are you laughing at? Oh,
Evan,
God.
dude, not now.
Evan.
Not now. Oh,
so again, like I think if you're moving Senga and Peterson, I think that's where you can maybe get that's a surprising move because we've seen what the pitchers are going for. But for McNeil individually, I don't think you're getting some, great return. I guess I'm missing something in the chat, so I guess
you are. I'll explain it to you.
Oh God. Oh God.
I mean, Schreiber. Maybe that's something that they consider. I don't know.
Yeah, again, that's the level. John Schreiber, Serpa, James MacArthur. Like, that's the type of guy you're probably getting at. Love, again, I would pray for Ursig, but I don't know what the world are trying to compete, so that's not a move when you're trying to compete, especially, they picked up, if they didn't pick, I mean, and I was still surprised they picked up the India money. That's $8 million they could have used somewhere else, but they picked him up and tendered him the contract, so they brought him back. So, it is kind of what it is. So
it is what it is.
So, I'll be back.
Anyways. All right. So, again, we saw some stuff about the Padres as well, the Mets and the Padres discussing amongst the Mason Miller situation. We'll get a little bit into that. We'll talk about it a little bit more in future streams if it gets closer. By the way, Dustin May signed with the Cardinals, by the way, on a one-year deal. We had a tweet from John Heyman saying that Jonah Tong is highly coveted in trade talks, and while the Mets value him highly, they are listening. Nolan McLean is viewed as off limits, and Carson Benj close to that. The Mets are stocked with good MLB-ready prospects. Williams and Sproat, too, need proven pitchers, plus an outfielder or two. Then we had the talks about the trade discussions, and the New York Times, Will Salmon put out a report of the names that are being mentioned. Nick Pivetta, Ramon Laureano, Mason Miller, Adrian Morhan, and Jeremiah Estrada. So there's some relievers, there is an outfielder, and then there's a starting pitcher. Those are three departments that the Mets are looking for. So we'll see. We'll see what the deal is here. Again, I think I would be a little bit hesitant to give up Benj for a few, like two of these guys, like Pivetta or Ramon Laureano. But if you're talking about any of these bullpen pieces, I think that, it's probably not going to be any of your top guys. McLean is out of the equation. If you were to send like Jonah Tong for Mason Miller, that's a little rough. I'm not going to lie. It's a little rough to think about, even though it is a reliever, and I know how good Mason Miller is. And yes, we lost Edwin Díaz, and yes, we have Devin Williams, and everyone's freaking out. But again, that's one of those tall asks. We don't know if the Padres like Benj. We don't know if the Padres like Tong. But it looks like Tong is liked a lot in these trade talks. If Tong is what the... By the way, if Tong is what the Cardinals are looking for in a Contreras deal, hang up. Now. Hang up. I understand that, the ask could be high for some of these guys. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh my God. Anyways.
No.
Please, Andrew, use a thumbnail or an emoji or something. Oh, he doesn't like your face, Andrew.
Well,
it's always the people without a profile picture, right? That are always talking about somebody's face, right? It's always that. Piss off. All right. Of course, Tong is he's a stud, better than McLean, just needs more seasoning. Listen, I like Tong. I think the stuff is more on the McLean side, but I think the pitchability, when it's all said and done, will probably go to Tong.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that again we're hearing the Heyman report like, oh, Tong's interested. Yes, and if you look at who the Mets are reportedly in, obviously you think they're on school board, they're going to have to give up something big. The Padres thing with Tong is, are you really about to give up Jonah Tong for a guy who was just traded for a top 10 prospect overall in baseball? That's kind of the problem you run here. It's like, oh yeah, they might like Tong. Preller just gave up Leo Dallas to Freeze for Mason Miller. So if he's trading out, he's cashing out Mason Miller here for Jonah Tong. I mean, again, good prospect. We'll see what happens overall wise. Again, we saw he didn't belong in the major leagues this year. He just gets rushed up because they had no other options. I mean, Preller is a madman, so I wouldn't put it past him, but it's just kind of funny that the fact that he trades Leo for Mason Miller and then literally for half a season just to go in the offseason and be like, oh, yeah, now we're trading Mason Miller. I mean, if that's not the definition of A.J. Preller, I don't know what is. Be like, massive prospect, get out of here, give me the big star, and then just to go, you know what, I'm going to trade him. Like, it's just A.J. Preller. That's why I love A.J. Again, he's a madman, and I love him. So, but again, like, can the Mets make a deal here with San Diego? And we're not talking about the big guys. I mean, if you're telling me you're getting a bundle of Liriano, Miller, and Pivetta for Tong, I mean, we're talking about it's interesting. I don't know. If I'm trading Jonah, I need a proven ace. And this is kind of, again, I can already hear Frank once, if this trade does happen, you could have just signed him last year for free. Like, you could have just signed him for free last year if you wanted Pivetta.
I mean, there was the qualifying offer. Didn't you have to give up like
still,
2 draft picks or something for him or something?
I really wasn't looking at him that much, and you were more horny for him than I was.
Pivetta,
I wasn't.
Pavetta's
I
a
wasn't,
gamer.
Yeah.
Pavetta's a freaking gamer. I love Pivetta.
So I mean, so if you're just willing to now trade
number one, though.
Yeah. So, and it's like, as much as you want to, again, do we really want to do this again where we're trading a top prospect, for a closer? I mean, do we really need to rerun that, story again? I mean, please, no.
Yeah.
As good as
we're taking on this deal for this closer.
I'm like, do we really need to rerun that history again? I would not. But again, Mason Miller's great, and we've seen that maybe that they're not making him a starter again. Which hell, give David Stearns an opportunity. I can make Mason Miller a starter. I want to do that because that's what David Stearns does. But I just don't think there's a trade worth Tong in San Diego unless you're including one of their star outfields, not Ramon Liriano. I think if you're throwing Jackson Merrill on the table, or you're throwing obviously Fernando Tatis Jr. on the table, I think that's the only piece in San Diego where I'd be like, okay, I could feel confident giving up Jonah Tong, which again, I love. I don't love him. I think again, I prefer McLean. I was higher on Sproat than Tong, but again, Tong had a better year. So again, it's prospects.
Yeah.
So
yeah, mainly Mets said he asked about the stuff better with. Yeah, McLean has better stuff than Tong. He has a better arsenal than Tong too, as well.
Yeah, because Tong's really a 2-pitch guy.
Tong has better swing and miss stuff though. Tong has better swing and miss stuff.
The fastball is weird.
McLean has good swing and miss stuff, and he also has the good enough command to induce ground balls because he's more of a sinker baller. So
yeah,
I think McLean has more volume ceiling. Like he's a guy you could write in for 6 or 7 and 6-7 like the kids say. These are the guys that you could write him in as like an iron arm, right? You could write him in as a possible iron arm. But Tong has 4 pitches. He has like 3-ish.
He's got 2. Like, he's got 2. He's working on more, but he's really again. We saw in the big fastball changeup. Like he's trying to get the slider and trying to work on the curveball.
He has a 12-6. He has a 12-6 curve that has drop. He hasn't really used it as much. He has a what is it? A slow fade changeup. I can look up the.
He's nerd. I want to nerd crap.
But
yeah,
the nerd crap. Yeah, no, but McLean definitely has better stuff than Tong.
Yeah, and I guess like my thing, and we'll see in the
Tong,
world.
Tong
I love
is still
rolling
rough
talk
around the edges though. Either way,
he's 21. He's not supposed to be raised. You're not Paul Skeens. Not everybody Paul Skeens. Yeah, he's not, not everybody's Paul Skeens at 21 just coming up and dominating. I guess again we're obviously only talking like there was other names in that report. Again, like Tyrell Estrada was a really good reliever. I thought about bringing him up in the past.
Yes.
Adrian Morahone. Like Morahone is another high velocity lefty. Like again, I talked about it last night with Jojo Romero. Do you really want 3 good lefties? I mean, it's never a bad thing. But again, like the fact that you're seeing a vast difference of trade targets, because everyone could be like, would I be shocked if it was like a Senga for Morahone? Maybe. I mean, that kind of how this offseason has gone, I wouldn't be shocked. Or Tyrell Estrada for David Peterson. Like there's definitely probably dozens of trade proposals on the table, especially when, again, Preller is like, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. Which one you want to do, David? Because that's just how insane AJ Preller is. So it's interesting, again. But again, it shows how insane Preller is at the fact that Mason Miller is even being talked about. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Evan? Okay. Jeremiah. Oh, I said the Giants.
Tayo Estrada.
Yeah, it's the wrong Estrada. My bad. I'm stupid. Yes,
there's a question for you, Andrew, in here.
Oh boy.
Your thoughts about Max Clark and McGonigal from the Tigers.
I think Max Clark has
the Rhino.
The Rhino's question. I think McGonigal's has a higher ceiling. I think the floor is higher on Max Clark just for being an elite defensive center fielder. That the bat popped off this year compared to his first year after being drafted. I like Max Clark. McGonigal, I'm not saying I love him. Obviously, he's the better prospect overall. I prefer a guy like JJ Weatherholt. Again, I like JJ. Am I biased because I got to hang around JJ? Of course. But again, Kevin McGonigal's the top prospect for a reason. He's a really good bat. Plays second base, shortstop. I just like Max Clark. Again, a left-handed elite, kind of almost as good as defensively as PCA in center field, with hopefully a higher floor of a bat than PCA. Where PCA is still out for power, I think Max Clark is going to be, again, more of the overall hitter compared to a guy like PCA.
Max Clark is like a bigger frame, right? He's like a big frame.
Yeah, he's like 6'2". Yeah. He's like 6'2", 6'1", 6'2". So.
Let's see. Yeah, he's 6'205". Like that's a frame right there.
That's a big boy for a center fielder. And the fact that he's an elite defender, again, he's similar to that PCA of just like an elite defender. Again, that has value. Again, look at what we're looking for. We're trying to find a center fielder. Like just to have that high floor of, again, at worst you're getting platinum glove defense and center. If you get any offensive value out of your center fielder, you see they're not available very often at free agents. So,
all right. Let's go to this poll, guys, in the chat. It looks like 50% of you guys like this move for Jorge Polanco. 15% of you hate it. 35% of you are 50-50. I think 50-50 probably comes for what's next because, again, we have like 9 infielders right now. So we'll see. They have acquired 2 infielders so far and a relief pitcher. That has been their offseason so far. So it almost makes sense that a trade is made. I like getting these moves done, but there's plenty of moves to be made here. I'm not going to get into we're going to save that for the podcast next week of that whole article that just came out about Brandon Nimmo and the captaincy and all that stuff. We'll get into that another time because I'm just not going to go crazy. We're going to stay alive, guys, for about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to hop off. And then, yeah. Either way. Sign Bo Bichette. I don't think that's going to happen with the amount of infielders they have, even if they trade away some of them. I am interested to see who ends up getting moved from that group. I know that McNeil is probably the most likely, but I feel like there's going to be somebody else too. So we'll see. Because again, not only do you have so many of these infielders, I believe Vientos and Acuna are both out of minor league options. So we'll see. I'm interested. Very interested. I think if I would say the most likely to stay, obviously Lindor, Simeon are going to stay. Polanco stayed because they just signed him. I would say Beatty is likely to stay, and then Jet Williams right after that. But I'd say that Vientos, Mauricio, Acuna, those guys are fair game. I think all of them, they have fair game. I think that Ronnie, I feel like they're going to give Ronnie another year. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, because he needs like an actual full healthy season. And then they'll make a decision. But again, we have two major league outfielders on this roster right now. Tyrone Taylor and Juan Soto. Acuna in center field. Yeah, sure. No, Acuna and what did we say? Acuna and Jet in a trench coat.
Yep, and you become at least an average height male if you put Acuna and you put Jet, back to back on top of each other in trench coat. Maybe you get 6 foot. Maybe.
Ronnie needs to transition to left field. They tried that already, and he was a disaster. They didn't. He played a few innings in left field. He played a few innings in right field, right? Or no, that was somebody else.
I think it was just left. I think him and Beatty both played. Did they ship Beatty out there? I know Beatty played left a couple times in Syracuse. They got like 2 outfield assists.
So Ronnie played about 200 innings in left field in AAA, and he was a disaster.
Yeah. So, again, even though that's the Stearns way, just keep giving guys more defensive versatility and just try them out there. Again, it is kind of what it is. But, so, again, we'll see. And we're looking at, what's next. I mean, I still think they're going to add a proven first baseman. I don't know how big that's going to be.
I'd love to see it. That would be great. I think it's either if they're going with the left-handed heavy, but Polanco again cancels that out because he can switch hit and he's more powerful from the left side. So do they go with a right-handed hitter if they were to go for a first baseman? I don't know. We'll see. Interesting. It should be interesting. Hearing Alvarez is going to take some reps in center field. Listen, I would try it.
Put his stocky ass in the outfield and have him run down balls inside.
Yeah. Guys, we'll be on for about 5 more minutes. Get your questions in, your comments in. One more time, Jorge Polanco, 2 years, $40 million as the Mets make a move here. And this is the one thing of David Lopez saying here in the chat, saying, I like the bat, but Stearns has preached run prevention. How does Polanco fit this organizational philosophy? And this is the thing of where we're like, okay, maybe they do get another first baseman, right? And this is seen as more of a DH. Could it be? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Or maybe he goes over to first base and he's an elite first baseman defensively, like we saw, Bryce Harper be, because everybody can be Bryce Harper, right?
Hey, Wilson Contreras.
We saw Wilson Contreras was good. Yeah, Wilson Contreras was decreasing like crazy behind the plate. And then he goes to first base, and he's one of the best defensive first basemen. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I don't know how much of a upgrade defensively it is compared to Pete, to be honest. But
yeah, I don't know.
Or compared to the Orange Bear. That's what we're calling him now, the Orange Bear.
Yeah, we're not. His name is banned. If you say it, I slap you. We're putting a fun. If anyone says his name, it's $1 in the Christmas jar.
Yeah, slap me through the camera. Try and do it.
I can dox you. If you say his name, you're gonna dox me.
The Cheeto Dust Bear. Yep.
Oh, we're using that, Mr. Cheeto hands.
Taylor isn't that good of a bat. Mets need a powerful line of 1 through 9, not this BS 1 through 9. That's what you can get from Jorge Polanco. It deepens the lineup here, and it gives you some room to add some more, which they are going to add. And I do think that the Tyrone Taylor at the end of this year or by opening day on the depth chart will be the fourth outfielder for this team. I don't think he's going to be the starting center fielder unless there's somebody gets hurt, which is something that we don't need to worry about anymore because Brandon Nimmo's not here.
Jesus.
We don't need to worry about Brandon, and we also don't need to worry about Starling Marte either. Maybe we do, actually. Maybe they bring him back.
Yeah, but a little bit. But yeah, so again, I guess if there is an option at first base, I know this is a bipolar. Murakami has to sign in 9 days, so that is something that we haven't seen the blame. But Murakami, that he does need to sign in 9 days.
I kind of like Okamoto better. I like Okamoto better. I like him better
as well,
but I
just
you never know.
That needs to be done. That's just something.
Could Amai be the starting pitching signing? I don't know. Could he be the move? I don't know. There's so many avenues they can go up. This is the great thing about it. Okay. You guys have to realize this is like Andrew's heaven here. The Mets have so many openings, so many assets, so much of a farm system depth that they can make so many different moves and go from so many different avenues. So this is interesting.
And it's unlike the
Jarren Duran. Best if he's available. I don't know. I like Duran. I think Duran helps. It would help this team. The bat's a little streaky, but he's a good athlete.
Let him go to Kansas City. Just let him go to KC. Let him trade Bubic for him, and let them have that as their big outfield ad. I'm not a big, even when he had his big breakout year last year, I wasn't a big Duran guy. I mean, I did make him a trade target in one of the videos. I look back, one of the videos like 2 years ago, I think trading for some. I did bring him up when he was. Yeah, so I'm not a
lot of whiffies.
I'd be fine with it. I think there are better options. There's anyone but Stephen Kwan. That's the only one I would be pissed off about.
Yeah, I'm not going for Stephen Kwan. I'm sorry. That no more. None of that. None of that crap. No, If you're gonna go with Stephen Kwan's, you might as well just if you're gonna go all in with Stephen Kwan and trade assets for Stephen Kwan, you might as well just have kept Nimmo.
Well, it's not Nimmo. He is a better defense. I just don't want the offensive. Output that.
I'm just talking about a better defender, strictly offensive output, and then in left field where the least amount of range is needed.
Yeah,
it's like.
I mean,
he's an elite defender in left field. Great.
I mean, somebody brought the Dodgers up. I forgot. I think I started in the chat. Like, I would do a lot of dangerous things to try to get Andy Pages on this team. He fits perfectly. If he maybe doesn't make that catch in Game 7, maybe he's a little more expendable. But, we had that conversation in my family. Like, would Pages be available? And he'd be like, well, he did kind of save the World Series chance. So maybe, that is something. And he's a elite defensive center fielder, hits for power, right-handed, and obviously Josue Paulo. But again, we say it all the time with the Dodgers. They have all these prospects.
Listen, I think mostly Mets. I think Duran's fine. I think he's fine. I just think his bat's just very streaky. I think it's in and out. It's really, really, really hot or really, really cold. That's like, even if you look at his stretches, like he had a solid start to the season last year. And then May and June, he was below average. Then he was really, really hot in July, above average in August, and then he kind of tapered off in September. Like he gets in some really big waves here. He's kind of like a more proven version of Brett Beatty, right? And he costs $7 million. Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about with his overall value because he's a tremendous athlete from all angles. Yeah, absolutely.
I just and you have the stuff that happens, and you have like the stuff off the field that would happen. Obviously, what he went through, and in the New York market, do you really want? I mean, I guess he was in Boston, so I don't. Again, if he is here, I'd be okay with it. He's a left-handed bat too. So like I kind of want that right-handed bat, so he's in a left-handed bat. So again, there's still like I said, I am like loving this because there's like I'd have a big board out and there's like a bajillion options that he could do. So and again. No one saw Jorge Polanco coming. So, again, we are going to be on our toes again, I would expect, and I think you were like kind of killing me. I think you're going to see by opening day, by spring training, I think there's going to be about 6 trades he's going to make because he's going to have cap dumps and then he's going to have acquisitions. So I do think, again, we have 2 months. Stuff's going to happen. So again,
yesterday I said, well, they're going to make a lot of moves because it doesn't make any sense if you don't. Like, again, I popped it up on what is it? Our thing here. Like, I popped it up on here. You literally have 9 infielders right now, and you have 2 outfielders. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And then you're looking in the starting pitching market with a full rotation right now on your roster. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't.
Yeah. So again,
the Mets roster would make no sense if you go into opening day right now. Yeah,
so again,
bench can play left field and center field. Sure.
Again, I'm not. It's again,
Tucker
if it happens,
next,
it happens.
I'm sorry, I don't see Tucker happening.
I'd love it, but they're not. They're just not going to do it. I love King Tuck, but it's just not going to happen.
Kyle Tucker.
I
think that, again, we talked about this team being a lot different. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, so I got to go. So I guess.
Yep, and listen, this is exactly how we'd recap it. It's a good addition, but he isn't Alonso caliber, and nobody's saying it is.
There you go.
There you go.
That's $1
Exactly. It's not Orange Bear caliber. Anyways,
Cheeto Bear.
We'll see, and it looks like this is kind of trying to build a bridge or leaving an opening for somebody like Ryan Clifford. We're not saying he's the first baseman of the future, but it's giving at least Ryan Clifford a bridge, like at least giving him a timeline to be ready if he ends up being a contributor, which is what I do like. I like the short-term guys who can either help push the young guys at the major league level, or they can kind of help build that bridge. And I think that what you're getting with Jorge Polanco here is definitely a bang for your buck here, offensively, 100%. So, again, great situational hitter, great clutch hitter, switch hitter, good power in Seattle last year as well. Maybe we add the biggest pitcher's ballpark known to man. So I'd say it is a really good pickup, and it's a good start. They still need to make some even more moves. There's still many moves to come. I feel like we're going to be going live a lot, not just for podcast episodes. Like we said, trades, signings, there's going to be plenty of stuff that they're going to do, and we are expecting it because, again, like you said, it doesn't really make any sense. Either way, we are going to we're going to end it right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in. Those of you who are in for the entire stream or you're here popped in for a little bit, let us know what you think about the Jorge Polanco signing. 2 years, $40 million contract, 32 years old, and it looks like he's going to be playing either first base or DH. We'll see what happens, but it definitely helps the lineup that it was yesterday with losing the pieces that they have had so far in Nimmo and the Orange Bear. Okay. Either way, let's end it off here. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, all of us individually, including Frank. Make sure to check out Frank's video, his reaction to the Jorge Polanco signing as well. Our podcast, we stream it live. We record it live every Friday now at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we are going to end it off here. Guys, let's go Mets. Plenty more moves to be made this winter, and we will see what they have in store. We'll see you guys next time.